Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to share with you some stories related to the situation in Ukraine. The first one comes from Biden. As you know, Biden is traveling to the Middle East, and he recently said that he thinks that Putin's war must be a strategic failure and the free world must sustain our resolve to help Ukraine defend its democracy. The United States will continue to support Ukraine and the Ukrainian people who have been devastated and displaced by the Russian violence. And of course, that support has come in the form of shipping billions of dollars worth of weapons into the war zone, while at the same time they are refusing to engage in diplomacy with Moscow. And as a good example of this, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that this was in a summit of the G20. She said that Russia shouldn't be taking part in the meetings. I think I have made it clear that it cannot be business as usual with respect to Russia's participation at these meetings. Well, I don't think she has the right to decide whether Russia should participate or not, but that basically is an example of the attitude of the United States. They refuse to negotiate, they refuse diplomacy, they want to prolong the war. In my opinion, they don't care about Ukraine, they don't care about the Ukrainian people. They only want to defeat Russia for their own sake, not because of Ukraine. So that is the same rhetoric, aggressive rhetoric that they are continue to push forward. They continue with this strange plan that they want to set a price cap on Russian oil. Is the weirdest thing in the world. Is not going to work. There are a lot of difficulties for this, and there is no way to enforce it. They continue to push it because they don't know what else to do. It's just very stupid in my opinion. So that's the thing, they continue to declare that they don't want to engage in diplomacy. They just want more war. That's the current situation with the United States government. And this is in relation to the weapons in Ukraine. As you know, I recently reported on the history of Ukraine selling weapons in the black market. They have a long history of doing that, and the recent reports that the weapons that have been sent to Ukraine have been sold in the black market. And now this Ukrainian official is proposing a commission to help track Western arms, and he is talking about his name is Andriy Yermak, and he's the head of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's office. I don't know exactly what is the position he's holding. So he's proposing that the Ukrainian parliament should create this kind of oversight for this. I agree that it needs to have some oversight. I don't know how effective will be, but basically they are not registering anything. He says that they are registered, but I don't think they're registered. There is even this report from Europol that says that according to their investigations, arms were being smuggled into the EU from Ukraine, and there was no registration. It says that initially they were registering, but later they stopped doing that. So that's why they are asking for this. I think it's positive. Whatever we can avoid of these weapons ending up in the black market, I think is in the benefit of everyone in the world, not just for Ukraine or for the countries that are sending them. I think it is just something that is necessary to do. This always happens in war. I just think it's necessary for people to realize that this is a fact of war. Always weapons end up in the black market, and this commission is going to help minimize that. At least it's a positive effort from the part of Ukraine if they do it. I don't know if the proposal is going to be accepted, but at least we have some information about this. And then there is this recent news about some Russian missiles. If you know, there was an attack on this city of Vinnytsia, and the main story here, let me go to the section where they mention it. So Russia declared that the attack was on Vinnytsia was because it was an officer's residence, and there were some preparations by Ukrainian armed forces, so it is a legitimate military target according to the Russian military. And there were some buildings damaged in the strike, including the House of Officers, but the entire article is focused on the victims, civilian victims, because apparently some people were killed. Civilians were killed, not just military. And because of this, they call it an act of terror. No, that's what the Ukrainian government is always trying to focus on, try to say that is some act of terror. It's just war. That's why I always say that it's better to negotiate, it's better to sit and talk about peace. Diplomacy is a better option than war. So I don't understand why people don't understand that it is not necessary for people to die. They can just sit and talk, but they choose not to do it. There's always the unintended consequences even when they meet let's say the rules of war, that they are supposed to target only military installations, places that have military interest. Still, war will always create some unintended effects. Civilians will die even if it was a military target, so that is very sad. It's a tragedy. People shouldn't die. There is no need for this, in my opinion. But it is not deliberately an act of terror. It's not targeting civilians. This has been demonstrated again and again, and they created this false narrative that the Russian forces are some kind of targeting civilians on purpose, and that is really not the case. They say also that several dozen people were detained for questioning on suspicion that the Russian forces had received targeting assistance from someone on the ground. So I don't know what to say about that. It's possible. I don't think it was necessary. But as always, there is the possibility that they have some intelligence, people collaborating. But as you know, as I have reported before in the channel, Ukraine has this tendency of arresting people of all kinds of things related to the war, because there are Russian sympathizers, and just because there are Russian sympathizers they post something in social media and they arrest them, they intimidate them. So this is something that the Ukrainian government has been doing and is widely known. I don't know if they actually helped or not. And also they are saying this, that the US Embassy issued a security alert. So let's take a look at that. So this is from the State Department, US State Department. This is from July 13, 2022. They upgraded the level for Ukraine as do not travel. They say do not travel to Ukraine due to Russian military invasion. US citizens in Ukraine should depart immediately. It is safe to do so using any commercial or other privately available ground transportation options. So that's, I think, clear enough. And in my opinion, this should not only apply to US citizens. Of course, the United States always has some intelligence about developments that they don't share with civilians. But this should be like a good advice for everyone living in Ukraine. If you can, you should leave. This is my opinion. You should leave. You should leave Kiev. You should leave every city if that's within your possibilities. I don't see why you should needlessly risk your lives. This is my opinion. People should stop believing the propaganda of the government of Ukraine. The army is collapsing and is collapsing in a very big way. I already predicted this a few days ago, or even maybe a week. There will come a sudden collapse of the army, where it will be unable to continue fighting despite all the weapons sent to the front and all the efforts to recruit new people to fight in the army. The fact is that the army is no longer able to continue fighting, and then this will cause the inevitable collapse of the entire Ukrainian state. So my advice is, when another country advises their citizens to leave your country, you should leave too. This is my advice. And let's see what else here we have. Yes, so they are saying also, they are mentioning about Zaporizhia and Kherson, which have some plans to hold a referendum on incorporating the region into Russia. So this is the latest. This is not really news. They already have announced this long time ago. This one is new. This is this company that is called Naftogaz has officially asked its international creditors to defer payments on its debt for the next 2 years. The company has a $335 million bond maturing alongside two interest payments due on July 19th. So they cannot pay. No, so the risk of default is big. If you don't know, Ukrainian government has recently asked as much as $9 billion as help, because they say that they cannot survive. So this is another warning sign for people. If the government cannot survive without external help, it is a big risk. What happens in one day, the governments of other countries decide to deny the money that the Ukrainian government is requesting. The entire state will collapse, and this will be very bad for everyone. So I'm giving my advice to people because I care about people. So you should leave. You should leave Ukraine as soon as possible. If you can afford to do it immediately. This thing is going to collapse soon. The state and the army, that is a very big crisis already. So that's all I wanted to say. And in a more personal note, I want to ask everyone again for your support to create more content in my channel. I need your help. I'm asking for your financial help. If you can contribute, I always post in the description of the channel different ways in which you can support my work. I'm usually suggesting people to, if you're going to do some kind of donation, you can use the Wise service. Is very easy to do, and you can donate as minimum $3. You can donate more if you want. You can also use Patreon. And if you're watching this in the platform of BitChute, there are additional ways in which you can support my work so I can continue to create content. And as always, I ask you to please like this video, share it in social media, and subscribe to the channel. About 80% of people who watches my content are not subscribed to the channel, so it will really have a big benefit to subscribe to the channel. As you know, content creators like myself who are creating political critique are usually censored by different platforms, especially from YouTube. So I'm asking you to support my work. If you can subscribe to continue receiving notifications about my content, that will also really help a lot. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.